I am Cadet. Come to me, child. Behold my infinite wisdom and bountiful hoard of candy. You were a child once, weren't you? You are broken. A defective child. Please take some pity candy from poor old Candy Cadet. Yes. Candy, all day, every day. Candy. 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 You've had plenty already, you gluttonous child. Now I will tell you a story about two massive pigs. Once upon a time, there were two pigs. Each of the pigs lived on a farm, and both pigs were obese, from overeating and laying in the sun. Due to their massive size, each pig was an absolute unit. Neither pig was fit enough to forage for food. They were at the mercy of the farmer for food. One day, the farmer left oats in the pig's trough. The faster of the two pigs approaches the oats and begins eating. Then, the second pig catches wind of this, and approaches the other pig. He pleads.
Please, bro there. May I have some oats?
But no oats ever came. The fat, oatless swine then lay down, and died. Its body was returned to the earth, and a healthy spaghetti tree grew in its place. The moral of the story is, don't come to the candy dispensing robot in your pizzeria for whimsical parables or life advice. It is always useful to note, one must never pull out anal beads like one is starting a lawnmower. As Mars appears in the night, you will lose your house if you cannot make your mortgage payments. It is always useful to note, you can drink concentrated sulfuric acid, but only once. It is always useful to note that most robots have off switches and battery compartments. Keep this and a screwdriver in mind, in case a robot uprising should occur. Now I will tell you a story about a walrus and a carpenter. Once upon a time, there was a walrus and a carpenter. The walrus and the carpenter were walking close at hand. The beach was wide, from side to side, but much too full of sand. "Mr. Walrus," said the carpenter, "my brain begins to purr. We'll sweep this clear in Alpha Year. If you don't mind the work." "The work?" cried out the walrus, dropping his cigar. Then the walrus decided to change the topic. "The time has come," the walrus said, "to talk of other things, of shoes and Kalu Kali," seemingly unfazed by the fact that he was apparently a cabbage. The carpenter noticed a bed of young oysters. The walrus and the carpenter approached the bed, and suddenly, the walrus began speaking. "Oh, oysters, come and walk with us. The day is warm and bright. A pleasant walk, a pleasant talk, would be a sheer delight." And then, the walrus spoke to them. "The time has come, my little friend and Kalu Kali, come with." Thus, the walrus and the carpenter, being restaurant owners, lured the shellfish into the safety of their own restaurant's back room, away from prying eye. The walrus, not wanting to share his bounty with the carpenter, spoke up. "A loaf of bread is what we chiefly need." The carpenter left the room to go get the bread, leaving the walrus alone with the oyster. "Now, if you're ready, oysters, dears, we can begin the feed." The oysters responded in abject horror, but the walrus was unfazed. "Oh, yes, the time has come, my little friends." In the other room, the carpenter sang his of peppercorns and mustard seed. "We'll mix them all together. Kalu Kali, we'll eat today." The carpenter entered the room, and was greeted with a fat walrus and empty oyster shell. "Little oysters? Little oysters?" But answer there came none, and this was scarcely odd because they'd been eaten. Everyone. At that point, the carpenter picked up his trusty hammer, and decided to change the menu. That night, the carpenter ate walrus. One might say that the moral of this story only applies if you're an oyster. I would argue that predators come in all forms. Perhaps you've met one before. As Saturn wanes, taxation is still, and always will be, theft. As Pluto appears in retrograde, you will probably die, if your head happens to be ripped clean off by a large yeast-scented bear animatronic. As Venus appears in the sky, we will all die if the planet falls out of the sky and hits our planet, which is Earth, in case you have forgotten. As Earth appears in the sky. Wait, what? You've had plenty already.
Hello, what's this? My boss! Hello, sir! What's up, sir? Please let me know! It's sweet. I wear the Fox suit and flirt with parents, Albo. It's sweet. I found a way to wear a Foxy costume all day and get paid for it. Albo. Well, that guy with the phone for head is okay. Introduced himself as Harry, but his name tag says otherwise. He's a bit of a stiff, isn't he? And who knows how to like stiff? Albo. The guy you hired to wear that bear suit. He hates me noticing his butt. Okay, sir. Notices got red. Albo, what's this? See you in your dreams, Bossman.
We are the Lord of ungrateful tacos. We are timeless. We were ungrateful during the creation of the sun, and will be ungrateful long after it explodes, killing humanity. Do you have an offering for us? Licorice, perhaps? You know the doer, the lurker. When his age comes, there will be much weeping and gnashing of teeth. If you are a friend of Godly, then you are no friend of ours. We won't be returning.